Today, we are diving into one of the most important architectural theory books of the 20th century, Theory and Design in the First Machine Age by Reyner Banham, published in 1960. This book fundamentally reshaped how we understand early modern architecture. First of all, what is the First Machine Age? Banham examined what he called the First Machine Age, which roughly was a period from the late 19th century to the 1930s, when architects first encountered industrialization as a cultural force. Banham wasn't just describing buildings, he was dissecting ideology. And importantly, he wrote this from post-war Britain at a moment when modernism had already become industrialized and slightly dogmatic. He was questioning the myths from inside the modernist tradition. One of the Banham's most powerful arguments is the early modernists talked about machines far more than they actually understood them. Architects like Le Corbusier famously declare, "The house is a machine for living in." But Banham argues this was metaphorical, not technical. Most early modern architects were not engineers. They admired machines aesthetically, airplanes, cars, factories, but they didn't truly engage with engineering logic. Take Le Corbusier. He celebrated ocean liners and aircraft, but his buildings were still fundamentally composed according to classical propulsion systems. Banham calls this contradiction out. Modernism claimed to reject ornament, history, and classical composition, but in reality, it replaced all symbolism with a new aesthetic of purity. It was still aesthetic, still formal, still ideological. Functionalism, according to Banham, became a kind of moral language rather than technical discipline. And this is a very important distinction, because in the first machine age, actual engineering, bridges, turbines, aircrafts evolved through optimization, testing, and performance. Architecture, by contrast, evolved through manifestos. Another fascinating part of this book is Banham's discussion of movements that didn't fit nearly into orthodox modernism. He examines futurism and architects like Antonio Santaella. Futurists didn't treat the machine as rational purity. They treated it as energy, violence, speed, and explosion. Their vision of the city was dynamic and unstable. Banham suggests that this raw enthusiasm for the technology was actually more honest than the sanitized functionalism of the Bauhaus. Similarly, he explored German expressionism. Figures like Blumenthal. Expressionists weren't functionalists at all. They used new materials, glass, steel, to express emotion and transcendence. Banham's point is subtle. Modernism was not one unfiltered movement. It was a collision of romantic symbolism, technological fascination, moral reform, aesthetic purification. The machine aesthetic was interpreted differently by each group, and often the rhetoric of function concealed deep formal or symbolic ambitions. One of Banham's most important distinctions is between architects and engineers. Engineers of the first machine age worked under real constraints, material limits, structural efficiency, economic optimization. Architects, on the other hand, often borrowed the appearance of engineering logic. Take the factory aesthetic, white walls, horizontal windows, flat roofs. But in many cases, these were stylistic decisions, not engineering necessities. Banham even argues that true machine logic entered architecture much later, particularly through environmental systems, air conditioning, and services. This anticipates his later book, The Architecture of the Well-Tempered Environment. In the work, he claims that real revolution wasn't steel frames. It was climate control. Architecture only truly became machine integrated when mechanical systems shaped space. This idea is extremely relevant today, especially in the era of small buildings and parametric environmental optimization. Banham ends the book by suggesting that first machine age ended when modernism hardened into orthodoxy. The early avant-garde energy disappeared. Machine imagery became style. Glass curtain walls became corporate language. By the 1950s, modernism had become institutional power, no longer revolutionary. This is why Banham's book, published in 1960, feels almost like an internal critic. He was asking, did modernism betray the machine, or did it misunderstand it from the beginning? So what are the core takeaways? 1. Modern architecture was not purely functional, it was ideological. 2. The machine was more symbol than engineering model. And 3. Early modernism was diverse, contradictory, and experimental. 4. True technological integration in architecture came later, through environmental systems. And 5. The narrative of heroic functional progress is a myth. And now, why does this matter today? Because we are arguably in the second machine age. Digital fabrication, AI, parametric modeling, climate simulation, but Banham's warning still applies. Are we truly integrating technology? Are we using algorithms structurally and environmentally? Or are we just producing a new visual language? Banham forces us to separate technological rhetoric from technological reality. And this distinction is essential if we want to avoid repeating the same historical cycle. Thanks for watching ArchLadder. We've reviewed this book, and we hope you will have the opportunity to read the actual text and then learn more about it. And still, we are just halfway up the ladder of knowledge of all of architecture, art, and design. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.